Hi, I'm Miss Fine.
And my name's Jared, and welcome to another episode of Nandji Neutral News, where opinions are obsolete. Miss Fine, may I borrow an opinion?
Oh, I'm sorry, Jared. I don't have one. The internet was overwhelmed last night as the breaking story was released that Greta will be sailing to the next climate change conference on board sailing Lavagabonde.
Lavagabonde is a 45-foot performance sailing catamaran by Outremer, owned by Riley and Elena with their son Lenny from Australia. These guys are YouTube sensations. They've been documenting their life as they've sailed around the world for the past 5 years, and their relentless approach has earned them over 1 million subscribers, absolutely squashing our 80,000. Subscribe!
If you don't know who Greta is, welcome to the internet. She's a 16-year-old Swedish environmental activist. In 2018, she set out the front of the Swedish Parliament protesting against climate change. As her solo protest was done during school hours, it attracted a lot of attention from the media, and before you know it, millions of students from around the world joined her protesting on Fridays.
Greta Thunberg is now a household name in Western society. She has stood in front of the UN conferences in front of the world's leaders, delivering speeches about reduction in carbon emissions.
This is where the story unfolds. Greta is trying to get to the next climate change conference without flying to reduce the environmental impact and the carbon emissions.
The next climate change conference was due to be held in Chile. However, the president has since announced that they can no longer hold the conference due to some political unrest.
Spain the very following day responded saying that they can hold it in Madrid. This leaves Greta with quite the predicament. How does she get from where she currently is to Madrid in Spain without flying?
Greta then posted a statement onto Twitter asking for any assistance to help her get across the Atlantic Ocean so she could reach the conference. Riley then replied with a comment stating, "Greta, if you were to get in contact with me, I'm sure we could work something out."
Shortly after the tweets, they set sail. As many sailors avoid crossing the Atlantic at this time of year during the change of season, it poses a lot of questions. Is this just a publicity stunt?
Are Lavagabonde using Greta for fame? Are they chasing the subscribers? Or is this something that Riley and Elena truly believe in? This is history in the making. It is world news. If you believed in something and you had the opportunity to stand up for something that you believe in, would you go ahead and do it? In previous Lavagabonde videos, they've created awareness, raising environmental issues about single-use plastic and holidaying on cruise ships.
But not everyone believes in climate change, and looking at the sailing and cruising forums where posts have been made about this expedition, there is a lot of backlash, a lot of people are angry, and some of the comments are quite nasty.
It appears the audience is split directly down the middle on this one. If you were to look at Lavagabonde's Facebook page, it is full of words of encouragement for this endeavour, and the world news has highlighted these guys in a positive manner. So it'll be very interesting to follow along to see what it does for their subscribers account, because for us, we cannot tell.
1 month ago, Elena posted a video to their YouTube channel stating that she was suffering from anxiety from sailing, and it's something that has gotten progressively worse over the years. Now with a baby on board, how are they going to manage crossing the Atlantic Ocean?
Despite Elena's anxiety, she is still a well-accomplished sailor. Riley has captained their vessel to over 80,000 nautical miles. These guys have sailed across the Atlantic twice and across the Pacific Ocean, and this is no small feat in itself.
If she's overcome it before, can she overcome it again?
And in the end, it's up to the captain decision whether they leave port or not. And to help these guys, they've got on board one hell of a young lady. This lady, Nikki Henderson, in 2018 became the youngest ever skipper to lead a team in the Clipper Round the World race at age 25, and she came second in that feat. So this lady knows how to sail.
She's a gun.
She's skippered 3 Atlantic races, 2 of them being the youngest skipper ever. So she knows what she's doing, and this is their crew member that they've got on board.
So we now have 2 minors on board, but perhaps Nikki is exactly what Elena needs to relieve some of those stresses of sailing, and she can focus on being a mother. So Greta is 16 years old. She's still a teenager. How is the dynamics of this going to work?
Is this too much responsibility to be taking 2 minors across an ocean in bad weather? And to discuss this weather more, we have Dazza the weatherman to give us a bit more of a lowdown. Thanks, Miss Fine and Jared, out here on location in Thailand. It is beautiful. The sun is shining, less than 5 knots, beautiful day. Where these guys are going, it looks f***ed. You can expect to see on this passage a whole lot of big waves, strong winds, storms, and a whole heap of freckle pulsating. This is going to be one hell of a sail, and these guys are in for some serious weather. So on Friday, leaving the coast, you see some variable winds as this red really builds up around Greenland and starts pushing down the east coast. So you can see some very head-on, very strong winds there in the following few days. Hopefully they have enough speed so they'll be out in the middle of the Atlantic by then and they miss out on getting most of that. In the northern Atlantic, really pushing down, there'll be some strong northerlies and a lot of westerly winds, which should be good. As long as they don't go above that parallel, keeping on par with Portugal, in a week's time they'll be flying. A lot of southerly winds from that next big low that pushes through. There's quite a wall there, but you can see majority of winds are westerly as they're sailing direct on the rum line across from the US in towards Portugal. This is about the 2-week mark, and you would guess with that catamaran and this sort of wind, they would have knocked it out, no worries, in 2 weeks. Hope that gets a bit more clarification on the sorts of weather they'll be dealing with. Me, I'll be dealing with cocktails and a frothy. Back to you guys. To help Lavagabonde navigate across these treacherous waters, they've employed in their services some of the best weather routers in the world. These guys will be able to give them updated forecasts and tell them directions of path they should be travelling.
But once again, the weather can be unpredictable and the forecasts aren't always right.
Things can go wrong on the sea, things can break, and things go wrong very fast on the open ocean.
I have a statement here that Riley made from a previous episode. We live in a harsh environment where bad decisions or a series of bad decisions can actually lead to your death. It's also been stated that Greta's dad is coming along as well. Now, there's been a lot of backlash for Greta. A lot of people are saying that she's been manipulated by her parents, she's been brainwashed. So this will actually be a great opportunity to have a look at the family dynamics as this whole journey is going to be filmed. We can actually have a better look at who these people are.
And isn't this going to be quite the adventure? Sailing across an ocean, 6 people on board to reach the summit, to impact the world leaders. Is this not something that is important history in the making? To discuss this sailing a little bit further, we have 2 sailors from Sailing Nandji here, Yoshi and Benita. How are you guys today?
Hey guys!
Hi guys, thanks for having us. Firstly, Yosh, how does the sailing passage look, and do you feel that their vessel is up for this task? Yeah, this passage does look like it would be very challenging. They are leaving in quite a rush, and there's quite a bit of wind and quite a bit of swell in the water at the moment. This first 400 to 500 miles will be critical, I reckon, at the start here. Yeah, it'll be quite challenging leaving the coast of the US, but it looks like once they get out to sea a little bit, that winds will be a bit more favourable. They'll be blowing right up their butts, which they'll fly across in that performance sailing boat across to the coast of Europe. So
yeah, but they can expect big waves.
Yeah, they're in for the ride of their lives.
Their catamaran is only a few years old, so as long as everything's working still on it, I hope that they have 2 autopilots, to be honest, and something will probably break on this passage. It's going to be rough, guys.
You can expect something to break as the winds and seas are going to be pretty hectic. So yeah, as long as they're up for the task of fixing stuff, and yeah, it's going to be right of their lives for sure.
I have a question for you, Captain Yosh. Would you make this passage now knowing the weather forecasted?
For us as cruisers, we have the beauty of waiting, and if the weather's a bit too rowdy, we don't go out. That's the joy of cruisers. We're all about planning and not leaving and not sailing to a schedule. These guys are sailing to a schedule because they're trying to get Greta across, and for us personally, we probably wouldn't leave at this time. We would wait for a much better weather window and probably would have left much earlier rather than leaving it now, but they don't have the glory of that choice. But they're smart, they have a wealth of knowledge, they've got a kick-ass crew member, skipper on board to help them across, and they've explored all avenues with weather routers, and they've got the support teams to help them out. So yeah, for us, we wouldn't have left right now, but hey.
If Greta wants to get to this conference, they have to, unfortunately. So
she's a brave girl.
We'll be thinking of them and hope that everyone on board handles the trip. They're in for a ride, and yeah, we just hope that they get there safely.
Good luck, team. So this is a very controversial and intriguing story to us here on Nandji News. We'll be following this exclusively as it unfolds. Please enter all your discussions in the comments down below. We'd love to hear what your thoughts. In other news, the big wave surf season is now upon us as the infamous Nazaré in Portugal roars to life. Professional surfers from around the world have flocked to this venue to surf and take on the mountains of water with faces over 50 foot high. With another large black blob out in the northern Atlantic at the moment, It is predicted that large swell will be hitting the European coast in the following week. Exciting times ahead for the surfers.